Now, Jared Polis is banning plastic straws and plastic bags. I mean, my God, what's next? He's releasing the wolves. He got rid of daylight savings time. He legalized marijuana. Oh, that wasn't him. That was 10 years ago, wasn't it? My God, you guys are talking about something that happened 10 years ago? Plastic straws and plastic bags. Did he actually ban plastic straws and plastic bags? I thought that Jared Polis was a libertarian. Isn't Jared Polis a libertarian? I thought Jared Polis was a libertarian. Here is Heidi Ganahl. Heidi Ganahl, Ganahl. This is a Republican primary candidate for governor of Colorado.
But I also got trained at the most liberal place in Colorado, at the University of Colorado Boulder, but the whole system, about how to deal with the Democrats and with an overwhelming sense of arrogance and entitlement about what is the right thing to do for all of us. And mostly I'm going to fall back on my role as a mom and a parent and what's happening to our kids. You can't tell me that you're a good leader for our state when we have the second highest drug addiction rate for kids and you're all in with the pot industry, or we have the sixth highest suicide rate for our kids and you haven't done a damn thing to fix that problem. Ask Children's Hospital. Our kids are not learning what they need to. 60% of our kids in Colorado can't read, write, or do math at grade level. And now, what are you doing to protect our schools after what happened over the last couple weeks? I tell you what, they tried to pass legislation a couple years ago, 2 sessions ago, that would destroy any ability for principals and leaders in schools to hold people accountable for bad things happening and kick our SROs, as school safety resource officers, out of the schools. That is not the kind of leader that moms, dads, people across Colorado want.
So there's Heidi Ganahl. Good old Heidi Ganahl. Good old Heidi Ganahl. John Caldera is going to interview her, and John Caldera's that's an interesting cracker. That is one interesting cracker. So, Heidi Ganahl. Colorado has seen some of the most extreme, most harmful, most oppressive legislation and executive orders in recent history, said Greg Lopez, a former mayor of Parker who secured the top ballot line in the June 28th primary at the GOP State Assembly in April. A dark agenda, a government overreach, and elitist control is destroying our Colorado way of life. We're suffering. Jared Polis has been an out-of-touch failure for our state. We've got to stop him, Heidi Ganahl said. And if Jared Polis and the liberal media doesn't think I'm a fighter, they haven't seen anything yet. So, damn, strong language from Heidi Ganahl. Who is this Heidi Ganahl? She said a whole mouthful there. I don't even know where to begin, but let's just start with Uvalde, right? The school resource officer. That motherfucker didn't even go to school. He didn't even make it to school. And then there was that one report that said some of the police might have shot a kid. So we need to have a school resource officer in public education so they could shoot our kids? I'm good. What the fuck is that kind of bullshit there? And then another thing, Heidi Ganahl is very big on school choice. There's going to be 3 big issues. Heidi Ganahl is going to make these issues, these 3 main bold ideas, the cornerstones of her campaign. Number 1, school choice. Number 2, oil and gas industry. And number 3, crime. So she's going to tap down on crime. She's going to give the oil companies even more money. I mean, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 dollars a gallon. Who gives a shit, right? Let the oil and gas company just go ahead and maximize their profits all the way to the tippy top. Who gives a shit how many people's lives? So those are the 3 ideas. School choice, right? She wants to increase competition, and she's correct on that because American public schools should be more like Sudbury model schools and not like the totalitarian, strict, hierarchical, top-down dictatorship that they are. Oil and gas claims Colorado produces cleanest energy. I think we should nationalize oil and gas. And then crime. Of course, we need to tap down on crime. Who would be opposed? Oh, yeah, the Democrats. Crime is a bad thing. She's a daughter of a cop. She's a daughter of a cop, and law and order is important to her. And really, Bass Reeves said, God, if you don't have law or morality, what else you got? If you don't have law or morality, what you got? You got nothing. That's what you got. That John Caldera, the interviewer, was totally terrible. He says Jared Polis is intentionally trying to destroy Colorado. I don't know if he's just trying to bait her, try to get her to go even more radical, but John Caldera also said that it's bad to be Biden this year, but it's great to be Jared Polis. Great to be Jared Polis. Why? Well, Jared Polis is like Pontius Pilate. He just washes his hands and then somehow just stays above the fray. He's like the Muhammad Ali of duck and jive. These are all John Caldera's quotes, like objection, leading, objection. Heidi Ganahl keeps on talking about how Jared Polis is ruining the ranchers and the farmers. Pay attention to these. They're talking about the energy sector, and they're talking about parents. They just kind of pick these identity groups, right? Ranchers and farmers, they just got $50 million around here in the San Luis Valley so they don't have to use any water. $50 million, I mean, that's goddamn fucking welfare. That's welfare. And Jared Polis, you know, Obama gave Kentuckians, Eastern Kentuckians, a bunch of money, and then they turned on him immediately. It's like, no, he didn't. He never did nothing like that. The hell if he didn't. The hell if he didn't. Maybe you're just racist and you don't know. I want to know, hey, Heidi Ganahl, what do you think about MLK and Malcolm X and the Black Panthers? Hey, Heidi Ganahl, what do you think about Reconstruction and Frederick Douglass? Donald Trump didn't even know who the fuck Frederick Douglass was. Donald Trump thought Frederick Douglass is still alive today. Heidi Ganahl, what do you think about Fred Hampton? Hey, Heidi Ganahl, what's your thoughts on Fred Hampton? Heidi Ganahl said her plans as governor includes reducing the state income tax to zero, cutting the gas tax in half in an effort to reduce bureaucracy by 40%. She invoked grim visions of Colorado's rural areas being decimated and of a Denver filthy and filled with needles and crime. Ganahl distilled much of her agenda into a reversal of many of the policies pursued by the Polis administration and the General Assembly. As your governor, the most important thing I can do is undo as much of the damage as possible. On day one, I will undo as much as I can. Undo what? Marijuana legalization? Is that what she's talking about? Heidi Ganahl, formerly a Heidi Flameng. She's an American businesswoman, entrepreneur, author, and elected member of the University of Colorado Board of Regents. She's the founder and former CEO of Camp Bow Wow, an international pet care franchise. In November 2016, she was elected regent of the University of Colorado. Heidi Ganahl is also the only statewide elected Republican in Colorado. She's running against Greg Lopez in the Republican primary for governor of Colorado. Now, Heidi Ganahl wasn't always in Colorado. She was actually born in Orange County, California, where she lived until she was 12 years of age. Her family then moved to Monument, Colorado, where she attended Lewis Palmer High School. So she attended a regular high school as Monument. Colorado is at a rich area. Monument, Colorado. Let's see here. Monument, Colorado. It's a statutory town situated at the base of the Rampart Range. What else? Estimated population of 700,000. Holy shit. How do I not know about Monument? What is up with this Monument? It has nearly 1 million goddamn people. Estimated population. That's 7 times bigger than Pueblo. It's part of the Colorado Springs, area, bordered by Pike National Forest, Colorado Springs, and the United States Air Force Academy. Wow, Monument's got 700,000. Is that the rich part of fucking Colorado Springs? I still think it's the rich part. It's probably the rich. She's from Orange County, right? Yeah, look, 5% are below the poverty line. My God, she went to the rich part. Okay, so she went born and raised in Orange County. Boy, I bet that's tough. Born and raised with a silver spoon. She had a silver spoon in her mouth. I bet that was tough. How'd you eat your cereal with that golden spoon? Fortunate, charmed life. She's an elite. Heidi Ganahl is an elite. If you think, I wonder if Putin invaded Colorado, would Heidi Ganahl run? Or would she stay and fight? Is this a land she actually loves and wants to fight for? Or Heidi Ganahl is from Lone Tree, attended the University of Colorado Boulder. She earned a bachelor's degree in business. Interesting. She's going to shit all over University of Colorado Boulder, but she earned a bachelor's degree there in business. And she made a bunch of money. So, I don't understand your criticisms. Has a master's degree in healthcare administration from the University of Denver. What'd she do with that? Chaired the Board of Regents Audit and Finance Committees, as well as the search for the new president of Colorado University. Her first husband had died when she was 27 years old in a plane crash. After a few years in pharmaceutical sales. Heidi Ganahl returned to a business plan she made with her husband before his death and opened Camp Bow Wow, a boarding facility for dogs. Apparently, it's a $100 million brand. It was on the Incorporated 500 for 5 years in a row. What is the Incorporated 500? She sold it in 2014. So I guess she's got money, but I don't know how much. Like millions, billions, 10 million, $500,000. Heidi Ganahl met her second husband, J.C. Ganahl, on a blind date and quickly discovered they shared a love of dogs, sports. So Heidi, right? Heidi Ganahl now, but it was Heidi Flameng. And then who was it before that? She's been married before, so that means she's had 3 other names. Or 2 other names. She started GQ BBQ, which has 3 locations. The couple has 3 children together. Holly, who is 12, and 9-year-old twins Jack and Jenna. And apparently they're twins. She met her second husband, Jason Ganahl, on a blind date. Quickly discovered they shared a love of dogs, sports, and startups. So her 3 main bold ideas: school choice, oil and gas, and crime. Crime is bullshit. School choice, she's right about it. We need to get Sudbury model schools in here. Public education, it's absolutely failing us. And oil and gas, she's wrong on. We need to nationalize oil and gas. I mean, look at the gas prices. The gas prices are where they're at because of the oil and gas industry. Motherfuckers, y'all can't charge, They keep on complaining about the energy sector and restaurants. They keep on acting like the Democrats are against the restaurants and energy sector and parents and the wolves. They keep on bringing up them damn wolves. The people of Colorado voted for the wolves. So if you don't like the idea of releasing the wolves back into the wild, then you have to hate the people of Colorado because the people of Colorado voted for that. That's how initiatives and referendums work. You're against a democratic republic. Ben Franklin said, hey, I gave you a republic if you could keep it. Well, the republic voted to release the wolves and motherfuckers are still complaining about it. And then I thought that these ranchers are a bunch of tough guys. Wear a cowboy hat, shoot them, root them, shoot them. McTootums, but yet they're going to sit there and act like they got to watch a wolf kill their livestock. And here's another thing about releasing the wolves. Not a single wolf has been released yet. Not one single wolf has been released yet. The wolves that has killed a couple cows has done it in the northern part of Colorado. They're the wolves that have always been there, and the ranch that's always been there. The federal policy is making it harder, but there's a law in Colorado that says dogs cannot worry livestock. They can't even worry them, let alone eat them or attack them. Dogs cannot worry livestock. Dogs cannot worry livestock. That's wolves are dogs. Wolves are canines. And for the cattle owners, I don't understand why they don't support Colorado's laws. Don't you support Colorado's courts and Colorado's laws to override the federal policies? My God, there's not a jury in the world that would sit there and say that you got to watch a wolf eat your cow while you just sit there and watch it. No fucking way. If you love your cow, you love your livestock, you got to fight and defend it. And it's your property, it's your bread and butter. Just sit there and watch a wolf eat your cow? I don't think so. Nobody's saying that you have to watch a wolf eat your cow on your own private land. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. So not even a federal jury would say that, but especially a Colorado jury. So they're just not being, they're just being a bunch of negative Nancys and shit. There's no wolves to be, I think somewhere in Jackson County or something. There's 64 counties, so there's no wolves whatsoever, in the San Luis Valley, let alone, if they are, it's because they have already been here, not because they have been released. Again, they haven't released one of those wolves with the whole Release the Wolves program, which was voted on by the people. So, and if you don't know where the wolves should go, they should go to a zoo or some part of the national forest. They need to go somewhere. So, yeah, to be against the wolves, it's not to be against the farmers and the ranchers. We hear you, motherfuckers. Goddamn. Don't fucking let a wolf kill your goddamn cow. Shoot that fucking wolf. What is the matter with you motherfuckers? They're hating the Colorado people with this dumb shit. Oh my gosh, it's the damn potheads. They're saying, what, wolves have to eat your cows? No, they're not. Potheads like a nice cheeseburger. What the hell's the matter with you guys? Interesting that Heidi Ganahl was beginning as a UC Board of Regent. And now she's running for governor. So hell, just win the school board and then go straight to the top all the way to presidency. She's talking about abortions and really having abortion all the way up to birth is ridiculous and insane. Roe v. Wade was awesome. Last 3 months, you can't get abortion. The first 3 months, you can. The middle 3 months was up to the states. Also, nobody said to sell drugs to kids. She's talking about if you sell pot to kids, you better go to jail. Of course, she's also bitching about or complaining about she could be an Amber Heard. 2012 legalization. Back in 10 years, she said, we'll never get that genie back in the bottle, but she would love to do so. I think Heidi Ganahl is just a plain old suburban mother, right? Running for governor. Yeah, right, from Orange County. And she's had a silver spoon in her mouth the whole time. She went to Boulder and complains about it, but she got business opportunity skills and then got health administration. What are you? Heidi Ganahl bragged they overturned 12 school boards last year. She voted on a critical race theory thing. She said that we're all going to go to heck in a handbasket. Critical race theory. Heidi Ganahl said that Jared Polis stinks and he destroyed the state. In spite of our GDP being through the roof, Colorado's economics is like the best in the country. Heidi Ganahl, we need to know who she is because it's going to be either Eric Lopez or Heidi Ganahl. Bachelor's degree in business from the University of Colorado Boulder, followed by a master's degree in healthcare administration from the University of Denver. In the spring of 1994, her husband, Bjorn Fleming, died in a plane crash. Heidi Ganahl also recently sponsored an anti-critical race theory proposition effort that was seen as an attempt to impose external controls on an academic freedom of facility at the University of Colorado. The proposition was defeated in a 3-6 vote of the board. Regents Ganahl, Chance Hill, and Susan Sharkey voted for the proposition in a November 2021 event. Heidi Ganahl suggested that winning by large margins will override election fraud, implying that substantial voter fraud exists. In the same event, Ganahl also endorsed a political group that pushes unsubstantiated claims of election fraud in the 2020 election while praising the election system in Colorado. Heidi Ganahl also expressed uncertainty over the election processes of other states. But Colorado's elections were good. Similarly, Heidi Ganahl raised doubt about the election, voicing concerns which she perceived as rules being weakened before the 2020 election in some states. In 2020, she donated $2,000 to Lauren Boebert, and Heidi refuses to say whether she accepts the results of the 2020 election. Heidi Ganahl also co-founded a group that praised the Proud Boys, calling the neo-fascist group wonderful men. Even Donald Trump is distancing himself from the Proud Boys, but Heidi Ganahl, them Proud Boys, wonderful men. Those right-wing fascists, just wonderful. Heidi Ganahl also supported John Eastman, CU's former visiting professor of conservative thought who helped draft the plan for Trump to overturn the 2020 election while on Colorado University's payroll. Now, 2022 is going to be the year of the Democratic bloodbath, and Heidi Ganahl is going to benefit from that. But will that be enough of a wave to put her on top? I don't know. When it comes to elections, it could go one way or it could go the other. So you have to pay attention to each and every single election. I think if Heidi Ganahl and actually Greg Lopez joined forces and somehow they were to, blend in together, because just her being a woman and him being a brown man, that represents, a demographic that Jared Polis does not represent in Colorado. And so if you were to put them together and, have some sort of dynamic duo kind of thing, maybe, I don't know. Even then, I think they would have a struggle. I think that Jared Polis has this thing pretty much locked in the bag, but you don't want to get too overconfident. And you heard what she was saying. Colleges are a bunch of arrogant, unentitled, or a bunch of entitled, arrogant fucking pricks that think they know what's best for the rest of us. I can't stand professors, motherfucking $100,000 in debt and don't have any goddamn thing to show for it. No, there's a lot of good points that Heidi Ganahl is, speaking about, and I don't know if she'll be able to, cause a big enough stink and be able to overturn the apple cart or not. I'm not for sure. But that's a little bit about Heidi Ganahl.